Alright, just like every other part of this gun, and every gun for that matter, there's parts that your finger is too big and fat to fit in. So again, you take that screwdriver, you wrap it around the tip of it around the end of that, around the cloth, and you get in there. Right here I'm cleaning the face of the bolt where the base of the casing touches the front of the bolt, basically. So all that crud right there, that was right here in this little crack, this little crevice. It's hard to see it in the light. Right there, this little half moon right here. You're going to run it in there. Again, you have to be extremely careful not to bend or twist these these extractor claws, because if you do, those are expensive, and if they're not expensive, they're still a pain in the ass to replace. So just don't break them. Be very careful. And if this is the first time you've ever done something like this, go slow. This is like the 16,892nd time for me, so I may be complacent, but I've got some experience, and it's my gun, so if I mess it up, then oh well, I can only be mad at myself. These little slits right here where these recoil, or these why do I keep saying that, where these extractor claws are, where they slide inside of it and are pinned into place, those got to be cleaned too. So take that screwdriver again and work that cloth down in there and just slide it back and forth and do it 1 or 2 passes, and then pick a new spot and until it's clean. Just repeat that process until that area is clean and you don't get anything. You want no dirt on your gun, no dirt, no soot, no nothing on your gun when you're done cleaning it. These little areas, they're what get you every single time. No matter how well you think you cleaned your gun, those are the parts that retain dirt the most often, that help expedite your gun getting dirty again, because you overlook them. Because that's where all the dirt and whatnot's hiding. Because you can't get to it unless you use some kind of tool, like a screwdriver. Get the top of the bolt, or get the top of the extractor claws. Get down in here where the charging handle is, bolt handle, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't really care. Tomato, tomato. Make sure you get it all, every little bit of it, because there's less to get in there and gum up your action. Alright. Disgusting, filthy. Now, your action block. This is the heart, your action assembly, this is the heart of the gun. Every surface, nook, cranny, everything on this needs to be clean. I start from the back and work my way forward. These little holes where the action pin is, and you got the recoil buffer right here, this big plastic rubber looking piece right here. Then you wipe down the rails that hold the assembly together. And almost all of this is going to be relatively clean. Like, that's all I've gotten off of it. That's not that bad. It's mainly this little aluminum block here and the feed throat that's going to be filthy, because that's where the burning powder is when the gun goes off. That's where the ignition source is, and that's where all the gases are trying to escape, and where the bolt is getting pushed back. You've got a lot going on in this area, and that's true with any firearm. Where the ammunition comes from is going to be the dirtiest. That area, your chamber, ejector port, all of that. That's going to be your dirtiest area. Now, again, this little channel right here where the bullets actually slide up and into the chamber, I can't get into that with my fingers, so screwdriver. And just completely get everything as best as you can until it comes out clean. And guys, when you use your guns, it's best to clean them immediately after use, because then you don't have to deal with caked on stuff. Because the longer you let it sit, the longer it has to just kind of dry and, you know, if you shoot it again without cleaning it, bake itself on. And just keep going with it until you don't get anything at all on the cloth. And again, every little nook and cranny needs to be cleaned. Otherwise, you didn't properly clean the gun and you pretty much just wasted however long you spent cleaning it. Time out of your life you're not going to get back. And your gun will still be dirty. Get that feed throat, because that's where all your ammo is sliding, and if it's dirty and gritty, then your ammo isn't going to go in there properly. Be careful of the feed lip that's pushing stuff up into there, into the action in front of the bolt, because you don't want to bend that. Don't ask me how I know, but it's a pain in the ass, and that one is expensive to replace. And like I said, every part, every nook, every cranny, as best as you can, clean it. Wipe it down. Give it some TLC. It's only going to make the gun work better. Unless you give too much pressure to a particular area and then you break it, then you're just a moron. Well, I shouldn't say that. Alright. Since this part is so filthy, I usually go over it with a second cloth purely for lubricating purposes, because it still needs oil on it to help protect it from rusting and corrosion and all that other fun stuff that can render a gun absolutely useless and, let's face it, ugly. Nobody wants an ugly gun. I know I don't. I like my guns pretty as possible. And yes, that's right, America, I just did call guns. I just did say I like my guns pretty, so if you don't like it, it's tough shit. Everything is done. All the parts are clean. Now, you are going to take the receiver, this part right here, turn it around so that the ejection port, which is this hole right here, is facing out. You're going to take that guide rod for the spring, and you're just going to slip it on to the recoil spring, like so. That little nipple at the end there, this damn camera. That little nipple right there, there's a hole that this goes in the back of the receiver. Right there. I'm trying to do this so y'all can see it, but it's difficult with this crappy lighting in here. Alright, it's in there. You probably can't see it, but it's in there. You slip that spring into that hole in the back of the bolt. And it's very difficult to get this wrong, because if you have the notch on the top of that bolt sitting the wrong way where the bolt handle isn't going to fit, then you have the damn thing upside down. Alright, you're going to slide it on there as best as you can without losing control of it, and you're going to partially, I will say that again, partially put it back into place. The reason why, when it's fully in place, you can't put this back in. And I have forgotten to do that once or twice. And then you got to take it all apart again. Well, you don't have to take it completely apart, just it's annoying. Take your screwdriver and very gently pry it up and away from the face of the chamber and keep working it down until, bam, now it's back in place. Test it. And make sure that that little nipple for that little spring is in that hole. Make sure your recoil spring and all that's right where it's supposed to be, because otherwise that's bad juju. Bad things will happen. I know, I've seen it. You're going to take this, there's two little pins. This lighting in here sucks. This pin right here, and there's another one on the other side. There's a little hook that you can see right there on the action assembly. Slides on and hooks in. Now you're going to notice with these Marlin 60s that they won't go straight on. It's going to be, it feels like it's stuck against something. It is. Alright, this pin right here, that holds the action assembly in place in the front. As you can see, barely, there's a little notch there. It just slides right on there, like such. And it doesn't go anywhere. It's a little hinge. You take it and you'll notice, and you rotate it up. You'll notice it's not going anywhere. It's not locking in like it's supposed to. Well, it's supposed to do that. It'll feel like it's jammed up against something and it's caught. It is. It's the bolt. Push it back and it slides right into place. And there you go. Then you take this little guy. That little pin that was in there originally, he goes right back in there, and it doesn't matter which way you put him in, which side you put him in. He goes in there. Now this is fine. This is together. The action and assembly are together now. You put the rod, the recoil rod, the magazine rod back in. Slide it in. There's two little pins on it, on the end of the rod. Right there, you can barely see it in the light. There's a little hole, there's little channels in there that it locks into. You're going to grab it, find where those channels are, push down, twist, and it's locked into place. Alright, now you're going to put the barrel and the action and all that good stuff back on. And it just drops right into place. And this is a lot more difficult to do than it looks, simply because I'm trying to hold it at an angle where you can see. You just line up where this little tab right here, your bolt release comes through, and bam, it's on. Then this big fat one, that goes right here. Get it finger tight until you can't twist it anymore. Bam, it's on. Be careful not to nick your, God damn it. Be careful not to nick your stock. Twist it, and it doesn't have to be farmer tight where the screw is ruined and you have to replace it. It's only a 22, people. It's not a 416 Rigby or a elephant gun or any of that. Then you got the other screw, which goes right here. You can hardly see it in the light, and I do apologize for that, but you got to do what you can with what you got. Get it in there, finger tight as best as you can, and you got to really be careful with this one because I have cracked a trigger guard doing this, over tightening it. Tighten it till it's finger tight, and there, the gun is assembled. It's nice and clean. And there's one last step. The final thing you do with this, the most important thing that you do with this, is give it a good thorough wiping down. Normally, I wipe this down every other cleaning. Helps protect it against water, rust, corrosion, all that good stuff that will mess your gun up. Just wipe everything down. Every piece of metal, every piece of wood. If you have a wood stock, you really need to do this to help protect that wood. Keep it nice and shiny. As far as the metal goes, it's mostly just the barrel itself and the magazine tube that needs to be wiped down on a Marlin 60, but I do it to the whole damn thing regardless. And you really want to make sure that you don't touch the wood or the metal while the oil is on there and it's wet. Very important that you don't. That isn't good. Oh, okay, I know what that is. Alright. Wipe it all down nice and good, and bam, she's clean. And look at that gorgeous shine, and it's going to stay shiny like that once it's dry. This is NRA Man forever. Remember, united we stand, divided we fall. Have a good day, y'all.